Hello everybody and welcome back once again here to IndySportsCrew.com and our Monday night reaction. A little bit of a different venue, back in the man room this week. Not normally in here as my son is normally asleep in the room next door, but man room it is for this week. Thanks for stopping by and coming in. And the Colts got another win on Sunday. They beat the Tennessee Titans 22-14 at home, pushing the record to 8-4. But let's face it, although the record is 8-4, they're just not a real good team right now. Yeah, they've got a couple wins and they've won 3 out of their last 5, and most of the time that's pretty good. But compared to the way they looked in the first half of the season to now, not so good for the Indianapolis Colts, although they did win yesterday. Let's look at a couple reasons why it's almost surprising that they did beat the Titans at home, even though they just beat the Titans down in Tennessee 2 weeks ago. First thing, stats do not equal a win in this game. Let's look at this. The Titans had more first downs, more plays from scrimmage, more yards, and more time of possession than the Colts, yet somehow, some way, they get a victory. The Colts only had like 260 yards of offense compared to 374 for the Tennessee Titans. The defense, though, did step up when they had to, and we'll touch on that in just a second. But overall, just not a totally good effort from this team, and you got to see some improvement in these last 4 weeks if you want any chance to make a run in the playoffs. Secondly, the depletion of talent on the roster is very evident at this point. We know that the Colts have been beat up with injuries. Donald Thomas on the offensive line, Reggie Wayne, obviously. We've been banged up on the defensive side of the ball with Greg Toller being out. You're missing your tight end in Dwayne Allen. So all these things are starting to add up little by little. 2 of your top running backs go out. You make a trade for Trent Richardson. That hasn't really panned out right now. I normally try to be positive in these Monday night reactions, and I know that they did win, but they just don't look like a very good football team right now, and a lot of that is because the talent is not there. You know, it was a pretty talented roster to begin with, but maybe the depth isn't there because you're getting so far into that depth that these guys just aren't adequate enough to be on a playoff team, even though the Colts are finding ways to win games, and that's going to be our next point is there are 3 positives to take away from the game yesterday. First one, the defense forced 4 turnovers. This is what I was talking about, getting back to the defense. Yeah, they gave up a ton of yards. Yeah, sometimes they couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. The Titans converted on more third down. They converted on more 3rd downs for a 1st down than the Colts did in this game. But the defense was able to force 4 turnovers, had 3 picks of Fitzpatrick. Robert Mathis was another sack strip, which was huge. It was a key time in the game for him to get one of those. He seems to always do that at that time, and he did that yesterday. That was huge for the Colts. But they just did just enough to get by. Yeah, Tennessee only scored 14 points. They should have had a lot more than that, but the Colts D tightened up when they had to, got some key turnovers. Secondly, with the game in the balance, and even though they hadn't played very well the entire game, the Colts marched down the field and punched one in for a touchdown to close this game out, basically, with just a minute and a half to go. This is what I like to call, and I stole this from the movie The Program for all you football movie fans out there. That's when the quarterback gets into the huddle. Andrew looks at his guys and he says, "Guys, it's time to put the women and children in bed and go looking for dinner." That's exactly what they did. They had a long, sustaining drive, punch one into the end zone, basically sealing the victory over the Titans. And what this victory does, not only does it improve you to 8-4, you're already in first place in the AFC South, but this is the 3rd positive that comes from yesterday. Your magic number is just 1 right now to clinch the division and clinch a playoff spot and clinch a top 4 seed in the playoffs. So even though you haven't looked very good in the past 5 weeks since your bye week, since you got that big victory over Denver in that Sunday night game when Peyton Manning came back to town, even though all those things are working against you, your magic number is 1. You can go to Cincinnati this Sunday, get a win, and you're in the playoffs. And beating Cincinnati means you could be the number 3 seed in the playoffs, depending on how things shake out the final 3 games of the season. But right now, that's a major positive. You know that you're almost basically locked in. The Colts get a win. The Titans lose any game in the next 4. The Colts are into the playoffs for the 2nd year in a row under Chuck Pagano. That would be huge, even though right now, the way you're playing, you're probably not going to be in the playoffs very long. Thanks for coming to IndySportsCrew.com, and we'll see you again next time.